Well, thanks for clicking on to another global weather report. It is the 7th edition. It's the 12th of July, Tuesday evening at 20 to 6, quarter to 6, or quarter to 5 actually, sorry. I'm an hour ahead of myself here. But certainly a lot of things going on, of course. We know about the heat coming up at the weekend. Temperatures trimming back as I speak. Doesn't feel that way across the southeastern half of the country. Temperatures, as of recording, are still in the 30s, generally from about Cambridge down through to London and points in between. You have to get all the way up into the western half of Scotland here, where temperatures are much fresher. Northern Ireland the same, thanks to a increase in pressure gradient between the high to the south, low to the north. And we're pulling our air in off the Atlantic. So we're seeing plenty of cloud cover now starting to encroach across the country as well. And over the next few days, that warmth is going to shrink, I think, towards closer and closer to London and the southeastern half of the country for a few days at least. And then it's as we go into the weekend and through the weekend and into early next week, it's all eyes on the temperature. We know it's going to get hot. We know it's going to get probably extremely hot. The question is exactly where the temperature goes. But in today's video, I want to look at the global picture. So instead of repeating myself, it becoming monotonous, you start to tune out because you think, well, it's just the same thing day in and day out. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it as fresh and as interesting as possible. So, global weather report number 7. Here it is. Temperatures for today. Quite often referred to this chart to start off with. And you can see here, the temperature is actually only 0.1 Celsius above the normal for the entire heat budget of the planet. It's quite interesting because we do have a lot of hotspots around the UK and the western half of Europe. Is going to be a lot of the global focus is going to be on that heat towards the weekend. But we've got plenty of cool areas as well. Notice here, western and central Russia, we've flipped around the temperature profile. It was cold here, it was warm here, now it's changed and become the opposite. We're still talking about hot conditions across northeastern Asia. Still interesting to see a cool southern portion of the Arabian Peninsula, Eastern Europe, through the central portion of Africa, the equatorial region, and India, Pakistan below normal, Northern Australia below normal. But it's really here that's quite interesting. We've got over a half a degree above normal in the northern hemisphere, but almost a half a degree below normal in the southern hemisphere. The Arctic is reading 1 above normal, 1 Celsius above normal, but it's minus 3.6 Celsius below normal in the Antarctic. So you can see the counterbalance here between warm and cold, keeping the average close to the average, which is quite interesting and something that we don't often see is balance in particularly the mainstream media, especially when you're talking about heat wave conditions and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, potentially historic weekend of weather coming up, and certainly I will talk more and more about the finer details and the numbers as we approach the weekend, but certainly in today's video we'll want to look at the bigger picture. You can see here the temperature profile now starting to flip around in the UK. First week of July was below normal. We're now starting to see above normal. And folks, by the end of this month, we could see a significantly hot July overall. Up until now, the forecast has been pretty decent, I would say. Some will argue, others would say, yep, it has been. It's a matter of opinion, I think, really, more than anything else. I think it was a pretty decent June. The first 10 to 15 days of the month actually hasn't been bad. I did say it would start to warm things up towards the middle portion of the month, and the period between the 10th and the 15th was something to keep an eye on in terms of some major heat. But globally, there's a lot of things going on at the moment here because we've got, I'll talk about that in just a second here. There was my dinner from tonight. This is one of the reasons, by the way, why Pakistan has been below normal, is we've been seeing some very heavy torrential rainfall in Karachi, 1 dead, and we've seen many reports of flooding and hardship and whatnot in this region of the world here. So heavy rainfall across parts of Pakistan, across India, has certainly been keeping the temperatures down quite significantly here. Now, the Indian Ocean Dipole is something that I'll be talking more and more about as we go into the autumn season and on into the winter season, of course. But it looks as if the Indian Ocean Dipole is at its lowest level, so the deepest negative IOD since in 6 years here, which is quite interesting. We've been seeing the flooding situation across Sydney and southeast Australia, and the reason for that is because we've got a lot of warm water surrounding Australia, Indonesia. We've got increasingly cold water against the African continent, and that may be another reason why we're seeing the temperatures below normal across parts of Somalia and the lower portion of the Arabian Peninsula. Basically, coastlines surrounding the western portion of the Indian Ocean. You can see that reflection in the below normal temperatures versus the below normal water temperatures here. So that is quite interesting to see that here. And of course, we've got a lot of warm water over the central and western Mediterranean. We've got warm water surrounding the British Isles. That is helping boost the high pressure, the drought conditions as well. All that's feeding back on itself. So dry kind of tends to lead to hotter conditions. That hotter conditions tends to build the pressure within the atmosphere, and you get these very strong areas of high pressure developing here. So there's a strong feedback between ocean and atmosphere, and it has some real significance when it comes to weather. But you can see here, of course, the situation down across Australia. So we've got this firmly negative IOD at the moment. We've seen significant rainfall, records breaking within the southeast Australia region. We're also seeing record breaking temperatures across the central portion of the United States, as you can see here. Also, if you're on Twitter and you don't follow me already, give me a follow if you're interested in global weather and climate, because I do a lot of I share a lot of stuff when it comes to the global weather picture here. Interesting tweet here by Maximiliano Herrera, another worthy of a follow, because he just tweets some remarkable statistics, weather stuff, climate stuff as well. Ireland was actually below normal during the month of June, as you can see here from this particular tweet here. Temperatures last night, by the way, very, very warm. I don't know if you struggled to sleep, but if you did so, you could really understand why. There was 3 locations within the kind of Yorkshire, possibly up into Lancashire, where the temperature did not drop below 20 Celsius. So it was actually deemed a tropical night. Tropical night being when the temperature fails to go below the 20 Celsius mark. So quite interesting that occurrence taking place during the overnight period last night here. So so some interesting things going on at the moment globally. I am going to cut the video now. It's been another long day, and I'll tell you, it's been a hot, sweaty affair the last few days here in the truck. And see, trying to cook in a vehicle when the temperature's sitting at 30 degrees outside, it isn't very pleasant. I'm not looking for sympathy or anything, but it's very nice here. I'm actually in Livingston tonight, and the temperature is fairly comfortable. The wind is blowing outside as well, so it's keeping the temperatures fairly subdued as well, and it should be more comfortable for sleeping. I'm back up. The alarm goes off again at midnight tonight, and I'm driving up to Ullapool for a delivery at Tesco at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm going to cut the video short. I hope you enjoyed the video. I didn't really particularly show any details with regards to the upcoming heat wave situation for the UK. We know that the Met Office have issued an amber extreme heat warning. I'm going to look into that in more detail hopefully tomorrow, if not the next day. We know the temperatures, generally speaking, are coming down. The hot area of the UK is shrinking for a few days. Then we'll see it significantly expand towards the upcoming weekend here, and I certainly will be looking at the numbers in great detail over the next few days. So please check it, check out that out. And I do appreciate the fact that you're watching today's video. Please like, please share, and if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. Hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll be back again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.